I don't see how it would be very easy for somebody to create a bank that just stores your money for you without you being charged quite a lot of money, unfortunately. I think that there has to be a different way to solve this problem. And I think that what we did after the great financial crisis was the regulators wrote down all kinds of new rules. But the crazy thing in 2008 were those rules were written on paper. And now we're in 2023, and these rules can be written in software.
And this is Chamath, and he's describing exactly what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is that system that is the answer that he is looking for in this excerpt here. So, what do you think? Do you think Bitcoin is the answer? Do you have any Bitcoin? And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video. We have a jam-packed video for you today, so you don't want to miss out. Getting straight into it, taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart. We've showed you that Bitcoin is on an upwards trajectory. Starting out looking at the RSI, you see that we are in an upwards trajectory as far as the Bitcoin price action goes. Now, we bottomed out and we've obviously broken this downtrend. The trend's your friend to the end. We're putting in higher highs and higher lows. So we might come back down and retest this eventually. Right now, we've been going parabolic with what's been going on. We'll get to that later on in this video. But if you just zoom this out, this is after the 2024 halving when Bitcoin will be extremely overbought. Around May of 2025, will we see the next Bitcoin peak around then? Taking a look at the Bitcoin price action, we do see that we are potentially getting out of the woods. Making the charts bigger so you can see we do have an inverse head and shoulder playing out. We had the neckline. We broke out of this. You see, this is the weekly chart. We do see that this neckline has been broken. The technical target for this is up to around the $40,000 threshold. Will Bitcoin stair step its way up there? Will it hold? We have to wait and see when this candle closes. If we close above this, it'll be definitely bullish for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's daily may be something like this. You see that this is a broadening wedge, and we just do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breakout, retest, and then blast off. But they're saying their primary target is 150K by the end of June. We don't know if we're going to be that bullish by the summertime, but there's somebody else in the crypto space that is calling for $1 million Bitcoin price target in the next 90 days. We'll get to that, so make sure you continue to watch. Another update, taking a look at the total crypto market capitalization. You see we still are in our Fibonacci sequence, 1, 2, 3. This is a double top for the 3. We had the 4 pullback. Now they have a call for $5.4 trillion in the total crypto market capitalization. Keep in mind that this is dependent on when this hits. This looks like it could be the end of this year, but if this extends out after the halving, traditionally how Bitcoin's hit its all-time high within a year to a year and a half after the halving, this would pull this out further. So this would be a higher price target, which puts more money into the overall crypto market capitalization. Keep that in mind. And we've had Chairman Powell said that this month that interest rates are likely to head higher than central bank policymakers. They'll stay on course till the job is done with taming inflation. Well, that's changed. They pivoted, and why they do that? They did that because of SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, and nearly 200 banks at risk for default. Banking regulators shut down SVB last Friday, 2 days after the nation's 16th largest federally insured bank announced that it needed to raise more than $2.2 billion to remain solvent, which sent its stock price plunging over 60% in 48 hours. This also caused panic and a bank run. Last Sunday, they announced the closure of Signature Bank while revealing plans to make customers on both financial institutions whole. The SVB failure is the second largest in U.S. banking history, while Signature Bank is the third. And this happened one after another. And we have 200 banks that are at risk. What does this mean for the crypto space, and what do we anticipate? And Balaji, if I'm pronouncing that correct, he weighed in on this. Now, before we get to that, you might be asking, who is this person? Well, he is an American entrepreneur, co-founder of Council, and former CTO of Coinbase, and former general partner at venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz. So former CTO of Coinbase, and also is a big player in Silicon Valley. But what's he saying? He says hyperinflation happening now. He makes $1 million bet on Bitcoin price exceeding $1 million in 90 days. Is this FUD? Is this just some type of PR stunt where he's just trying to get eyes on himself? You look at his Twitter handle, he already has a lot of followers, over 800,000 followers. Digging into what he's actually saying, just as in 2008, the bankers lied. This time, the central bankers, the banks, the bank regulators have lied to all dollar holders and depositors. This isn't your typical fractional reserve situation. The problem is that there isn't enough in the banks on a mark-to-market basis to cover withdrawals. They knew this through all of last year and communicated it internally in their coded language. It's Uncle Sam Bankman-Fried. Just like SBF used your deposits to buy S coins, using accounting tricks to fool himself and others into using the money, so too did the banks. So anyone who bet on long-term treasuries got killed in 2021, which a lot of those banks did. And now anyone who bets on short-term treasuries is going to get killed in 2023. The absolute worst place you can be is have large amounts of assets locked up in 3-month treasury bills. The approximate 5% interest rates offered by big banks is a trap. Most fiat bank accounts are now a trap for those countries who are central bankers followed by the Fed. What he's saying, if you trust the US bankers and the media, ignore what he's saying. Otherwise, buy Bitcoin and get your coins off exchanges. He's saying that Bitcoin is the only hedge. And he's making this bet once again. He's making $1 million bet. 40-1 odds that within 90 days Bitcoin hits $1 million. What do you think? Is this going to happen? Are we going to see the charts like this where Bitcoin just goes straight up and parabolic over the next 90 days? Doesn't seem realistic. It seems very crazy. But as you see with the bank failures, is this going to cause some type of contagion and some type of awakening to the general public and institutions involved that Bitcoin's the only safe haven? In a quote, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but now we are all Bitcoin maximalists. What's your take on this? What do you think is going to happen? What's going to happen when the markets open on Monday? Are we going to see more bank runs? Are more banks going to default? Please leave your comments below. And he also states Ray Dalio predicted the Fed would monetize the debt, but not how or when, it's now. They're doing it in the most chaotic way possible. There's over 100 plus insolvent banks get printed money. Who gets paid? First come, first serve. Who keeps the value? Those in Bitcoin. And what's going on behind the scenes? Warren Buffett is now in contact with Biden's team, the president of the US, on this banking crisis. There have been multiple conversations between Biden's team and Buffett in the past week, according to people familiar with the matter who asked not to be identified because the information is private. The calls have centered around Buffett possibly investing in the U.S. regional banking sector in some way. But the billionaire has also given advice and guidance more broadly about the current turmoil. Will Warren have a stake in the bailout for these banks? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Bitcoin Bros will continue to report this to you as we know more. Should you be scared of bank runs? Possibly. You have to be aware. This article is saying you probably shouldn't be, but we're a strong advocate of education and understanding what's going on the macro and micro economy, but also you should just be aware if certain actions aren't taken, how you should be able to pivot. Now, you should be in Bitcoin. We've been telling you that for years. Get Bitcoin right now. This is why Bitcoin exists, going through this moment right here. This is 2008 on steroids. So if you aren't in crypto yet and haven't gotten into Bitcoin at all, what are you waiting for? With this looming banking crisis, there's a lot going on. Once again, 200 banks at risk for the same fate of default. What's going to happen to the US dollar? What's going to happen to the money that's in your bank account? What's going to happen to pensions? What's going to happen to 401ks if we have hyperinflationary event like Balagist is suggesting? There's only one true, decentralized, unconfiscatable hedge to this issue, and that's Bitcoin.